Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. I think it's called something like that. I kept thinking that it was way too late for me to be doing this tag, and I was thinking that like a month ago, and people are still doing it, so I'm gonna still do it. This is a really great tag, and I will leave a link to the creator down in the description. I don't think I was tagged by anyone, unless I somehow missed it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. The first question in this tag is your best book of 2016 so far, and I'm gonna be greedy and I'm gonna pick 3 books. And I didn't do a top however many books of 2016 so far video, so I think I'm allowed to name 3 books. Going in the order that I read them, my top 3 books of this year so far are Room by Emma Donoghue, The Museum of You by Caris Bray, and Asking for It by Louise O'Neill. They are all my favourite books for very different reasons, but if I had to think about something that kind of links them all together, brilliant characters, fantastic storytelling. I suppose that's 2 things that you would expect to see in somebody's favourite books. But also more than that, they are books that left me thinking about them for a very long time. They are books that I still very much remember. Asking for It I only read last month, but still. They are books that I want to talk to people about and want to encourage people to read. Next is the best sequel of 2016, and I don't read a whole lot of series. The series that I am reading at the minute, I've started the first book and I haven't managed to really truck through the series that much, so I'm kind of limited in my options here. Next is a new release that you want to read but haven't got to yet, and there were a few contenders for this one, but the book that really sprang to mind first of all was What's a Girl Gotta Do by Holly Bourne. I have been following the Spinster series since it started. I love it. I recognise that it's not entirely inclusive, and I think that's something that Holly recognises as well. Each of the books in the Spinster series follow a different teenage girl, each with their own individual set of problems and life situations. The thing that binds these 3 books together is the friendship between these 3 girls and their Spinster club, where they meet up and chat about feminist issues. In a way, it's a bit of a teenage intro to feminism series of books, and the feminism has kind of been built upon in each book of the series. So the last book was the one I was really looking forward to the most, and it also follows the character that like kind of related to the most. It's been out for not too long now, but I know most of the people that were really anticipating this release have already read it and I haven't. That is something that I definitely want to get to soon. The next question is your most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and do you know what? I think all of the books that I were really excited for this year are out now. I think a lot of them came out in like the spring and the summer, but after having a little think about it, I did come up with 2. The first of which is the illustrated edition of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, written by J.K. Rowling and illustrated by Jim Kay. I loved the first one. I loved the Philosopher's Stone, but the Chamber of Secrets is not something I'll be in a rush to buy. It's not really something I can afford to get myself, so if I get it, it will be like a gift, I imagine. I'm excited for that to be in the world more so than I am excited to have it. And the next one is also a children's book. It is The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. You may know Tom Fletcher as the husband of novelist Giovanna Fletcher, or as a member of McFly. He, along with his bandmate Dougie Pointer, have released a number of children's books over the past few years, mainly The Dinosaur That Pooped Something, The Dinosaur That Poops the Past, The Dinosaur That Poops the Planet. I think The Christmasaurus is for slightly older children, and it is just Tom that has written it. He's not done it with Dougie, and it's about a dinosaur at Christmas. My nephews have enjoyed all of Tom Fletcher's books, and they very much enjoy dinosaurs, so I feel like this is something that they might be getting on Christmas morning. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment of 2016 so far, and for this I'm going for Look Who's Back by Tamara Vermes. I think that's Vermes. I don't know. This is a satirical look at what would happen if Adolf Hitler woke up in Berlin in 2011, navigating the world when everyone thinks that he's a Hitler impersonator. I found kind of like the first bit of this book really funny. Even though it is satire, I did find it like too ridiculous. Found spending time with this character was just not pleasant. I feel like this book needed to be so much shorter. I was really looking forward to it. My boyfriend bought it for me last Christmas. Looking forward to reading it for so long, and when I finally got to it, it was just It was such a letdown. Next up is the biggest surprise of 2016, and for this I'm going for Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I, like a lot of people, went into this book thinking that it was just going to be a fluffy romance story, but this book has so much more depth to it. There's nothing wrong with fluffy romance stories, it's just not something that I'm really interested in reading at this point in my life. But as I said, this book is so much more than that. It is about a young girl named Louisa Clark, and she loses her job. She gets a position as a carer of sorts for a man named Will, who is a quadriplegic. This follows the friendship and eventual romance that forms between these two. I think the romance was handled very well. There was also a lot of social commentary in it as well. I do recognise that there are some problematic elements to it, but nonetheless it was probably my biggest surprise of 2016 because I did really enjoy it and I didn't expect to. Question 7 is your favourite new author debut or new to you, and for this I struggled for quite a while. In the first question of this tag I mentioned Asking for It by Louise O'Neill, and it dawned on me that I read Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill this year. It feels like that was such a long time ago. Louise O'Neill is one of my favourite authors, and she is an author that was new to me this year. Asking for It is predominantly about rape culture, and Only Ever Yours is about ridiculous beauty standards. It is kind of The Handmaid's Tale meets Mean Girls. The next question is newest fictional crush, and I don't have an answer for this one. I don't really get fictional crushes anymore. Although question 9 is your newest favourite character, and I feel like 15-year-old me would have had a bit of a crush on this character. And for this I'm going to have to say Scorpius Malfoy from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I've read it now, so I'm allowed an opinion. Some people told me I wasn't allowed an opinion because I'd only seen the play and not read. I love Scorpius Malfoy. I'm gonna keep this still a spoiler-free zone, but he's precious. I love him. He is funny, he is smart, he's great. Just great. He's just great. I love him. He's great. Question 10 is a book that made you cry, and for this I am going to say Me Before You. Yeah, it was really sad, it made me cry. Question 11 is a book that made you happy, and for this I'm going to say Geek Girl by Holly Smale. You know when you find a book at the right time, and you know if you'd encountered it at a different time you might not have loved it as much? That's how I feel about Geek Girl. Geek Girl came to me at the perfect time. It was a time when I needed a nice relaxing read with some really funny and brilliant characters. It was funny, it had interesting characters, there were little subtle bits of feminism in it, and it had a brilliant father-daughter relationship. It just made me so happy. A strong and functional family, but it doesn't shy away from the problems within that family, and I love it. Question 12 is the most beautiful book you have bought or received this year, and seeing as I've done a lot of talking about some of the beautiful insides of books so far in this tag, I'm going to give some attention to the beautiful outsides. That's how I'm going to interpret this question, because I'm all about beautiful books. So I'm going to say The Land of Decoration by Grace McLean. This book is so beautiful. Look at how lovely it is. It has the most beautiful cover. The illustrations are lovely, the font is lovely, it's nice and shiny. I don't know if you can see that on camera. It has these like coloured edges that are like, I'm not sure if they're like brown or purple. They're like a really deep purple and I love it. The end pages are absolutely stunning. I've not read this one yet, so I'm not sure how beautiful the inside is, but just holding it kind of makes me want to read it right now. The next question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And aside from books that I actually need to read, so like for university and stuff, these are the main 3 that I could think of. Books that I wanted to read for a really long time, and now I own them and I haven't picked them up. So first up is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I don't know. Another one of those books that I need to read is The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. I wanted this for a really long time. I got a copy with like some prize book tokens and haven't picked it up yet. And finally, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I got this last year. Really wanted it. Bought it new. And just haven't picked it up yet. So yeah, if by the end of the year I haven't read these 3, full permission to yell at me. Final question is your favorite book community member, and I'm just not going to answer that because it's not fair. So that was my mid-year book freakout tag done a little bit after midway through the year. Let me know what you thought of my answers, and if you haven't done this tag yet, it's never too late.